Hello and welcome back to Novice Lumberjack, where I have made some good progress today. Check this out. Doesn't that look lovely? Like I said, it'll hang probably like out at the end of the driveway, kind of like a mailbox, but not quite a mailbox. I'm happy with it. Got all this mess that was here mostly cleaned up. You know, all of this just chainsaws everywhere. Yeah. And I got my nice shelf finished. And we got, these are oil absorbent cloths. And I figured, you know, might as well show you guys some of my... sadly, RC, I know you're going to laugh at me. But yes, I guess at this point I am a collector. I used to say that I wasn't a collector because I only wanted chainsaws that I could use and work. But at this point, geez, I think I counted so far there's like, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. There's so far 36 chainsaws on the shelf. And these are like some of my good ones. So let's just show you. Let's start with the shitty ones first. We got the 064 that was built by Jeff Seacombe. Leave Nothing Stock. You can find him on YouTube. That thing runs absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic. Here's the MS400, and still got an air leak. I've got way too much going on to focus on it, but it is a super strong runner whenever it doesn't die, whenever I let off the throttle. But that was built by Ethan Trainer, and I'll get that sorted. MS361, I got this from Tim at Iowa Performance Saws. It's a really nice, clean unit. Runs good, but it's got some piston slap going on. But it's completely stock. This is a 360 that I plan to build. This is a 361 and 361. Neither of those work, but I think between the two of them, I have one good 361. Look at this cute little guy. This is a Jonsered 361. 36 cc's though, not 60 cc's. There's my Redmax GZ5000. The good one that didn't sling a rod. Jonsered 2152. This thing's all stock except for a muffler mod. Jonsered 2156. This is pristine. Even though it's missing the cylinder and muffler, I do have them. The reason I haven't put it back together is because I plan on porting it, or hopefully I can get someone really special to port this one for me. That's what I'm hoping. But he's undecided on that, and we won't put any pressure on him by naming him. Here's my 2165. This is the saw that I race. I would call it a firewood race saw. If you notice, I went with the regular top cover on it. I was running this Cutter's Edge top cover setup on it. But since doing the video of the Husqvarnas and the Jonsered Turbo actually creating enough air volume to where they were faster with the top cover still sealed, I went ahead and switched it back. Haven't done any testing or anything like that. This is my Cutter's Edge, Jonsered 2171. I made that decal right there. Let's go down here. Here's my Husqvarna 2100. It's got the race pipe on it. The race pipe is from CPI. There's Bobby Boucher, the 281 XP built by Pat, or Cajun Work Saws. This is the 365 Extra Special. This was built by Copsy. He's no longer with us. That thing is screaming fast. It's a gas racer. And it's a real racer. This is no good for more than a few cuts. There's my 359 that I ported up. Runs stellar still. There's my pristine 55 Rancher. Down here, we've got the G660 from TriStar Supply, LLC. They are a aftermarket supplier, and they really great to work with. Guy's name's Jason. He's a real good guy. Here's my Farm Hack. This is a Farm Mac 372 XP, which at this point I really do lovingly call it the Farm Hack, because I really had to do a whole lot to it to get it right. It had all kinds of problems, but man, that thing runs great. Now, this is what I took third place at the Clone Wars with. It was the third place for that class. This is the Husqvarna G366, also from TriStar Supply LLC, and that will be my race saw for the upcoming Sawfest Clone Wars. So there's all three of my Clone Wars saws. All right, let's jump up here to the Shindaiwas. Here's my 757, also known as Hellboy, Shindaiwa. Shindaiwa 680, which I gotta say, this right here, I mean, it runs good and everything, but for 67, 68 cc saw, honestly, it's not that special. It's a stock Echo 590 would whoop its ass, I believe, but it's cool to have it. It's a really rare saw, and I think I've got decals for it and a new top cover. But, you know, we don't need to do anything with that anytime soon. This is my Shindaiwa, what is it, 392? Same thing as an Echo 4910. I got this to ultimately swap the ported cylinder off of my 4910 built by Charlie Briscoe. I'll swap it onto here. You know, I think that's the game plan. Shindaiwa 488. Fires up and runs good, but I think it's got some coil issues because it's really not wanting to rev out. This is a 4910, which I built, and the customer still hasn't paid me for. So at this point, I guess right here, if you want this 4910, this has been ported and polished by me. It's a good saw. It's not a brand new saw. It's a little bit dyed plastic, or dyed tank and everything, you know what I mean, faded, and but it runs excellent, and I have footage on the channel of it running. And yeah, if you want to buy it right now, $500, I'll mail it to you anywhere in the United States. How's that? Get a hold of me. Contact me at bodiechainsaws@gmail.com. If you want more on that address, just go to the homepage of this YouTube, right? My homepage for YouTube, and the About section will have my email address. We have a 3450 Poulan, a 325 Poulan. I just got this from Dubs. It's totally pristine. It's in such good shape. Dub hooked me up with a good deal. He got a couple of them, and he already had a couple of them, I do believe, so he could let one go. So I have it for the collection. I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to run this. It might just sit there on the shelf. I don't know. There's my attempt at creating a my own version of the Tim Allen Bad Boy, something that I could use and not feel bad about using a bad boy to actually go out and work with. I call it the 6000R, but I mean, it's also, it says Bad Boy on the other side too. So yeah, this is a 60cc Poulan, same thing as a 3750. Does come with the chain brake and everything. That thing, I have been in and out of that about a gazillion times. This is my Poulan 330 Type 3, which means this thing was marketed and everything as an actual 330. And so the 330s were 54 cc's, but it came with the 60cc cylinder from the factory. cool saw, and it's pristine and runs excellent. There is the Poulan, I call it the pulverizer. It's a 4000 that I ported up and everything. I gotta say, I took too much out of the squish, and it's got a little bit too much compression, and I think it runs hot. A little bit too much compression, a little bit too much timing. It runs hot, but you know what? It looks cool, so hell with it. The Zenoah. This is the OG right here, but it's branded as a Redmax G5000. But this right here would be the Zenoah 5201. This is the saw that spawned clone saws. Clone of that saw, the Pro Yama, we'll call it the Fake 68. Tate, I got to give credit, Tate Pizaski, right? He came up with calling it the Fake 68 because they advertised it as 68 cc's, but it's only 62 cc's or so. My Weimars 6220. This right here is advertised as 62 cc's. It's actually only 54. And then we got another Zenoah saw here. This is the Redmax G621. Good little saw, but you know, I don't run it ever, and I don't really want to. I like that it's in really good shape and it can sit there and look pretty and be part of my collection. And then lastly, up top we got Peter Frampton there. I have not ran Peter Frampton since he came back from his multinational tour. He went to Canada even, and I will probably do something to him and run him. That's the saw that they're using for the cheap saw challenge for Sawfest. I've made mention that I'm kind of half-heartedly given up on the whole cheap saw thing, because you know you're just, well, you're working with a cheap saw, and you know that can be troublesome. No green screen. So anyways, but I will, since I've already got it and I've already built it, I have plans of something else a little bit different, and maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Honestly, I don't know. I don't care. They don't even count them, the cheap saws. The cheap saws and the clone saws and the Wild Thing builds, none of those are actually counted as winning Sawfest. The only thing that's counted as winning Sawfest are the 3, 4, 5, and now 6 cube classes. Actually, they've got a vintage class too. They got a vintage class. So, yeah, I don't know. You with me? I'm like, am I going to spend a lot of time on the cheap saw anymore? Probably not. I've just kind of lost interest in that because I've got a bunch of expensive saws. Might as well play with those. Okay, so notable mentions of what is not on this shelf and probably will never be on this shelf. The 670 Champ, whenever I get it back from Corey Corp has it, and he will be porting it. Whenever I get it back, it might go on this shelf. It probably, certainly, yeah, it will go on this shelf. But it's not here, and so I don't have it. But as far as really nice saws that you would think that I would want on this shelf, I've got my 592 XP. I've got my Husqvarna 565. I've got my Jonsered 2258. I have my Husqvarna 562 XP. I have my Echo 4310. I have my Shindaiwa 600 SX. All of these saws will probably never go on this shelf because they're my workers. You know, I like to keep them barred up and ready to go. And so if I have something that I need to go do, I have multiple different saws that are really nice and ready to go. Ready, you know, for work, for actual work. And so this right here would be more the collection. Those right there that I just mentioned will be, you know, they're my work saws. I mean, I have other saws. Like I said, kind of sadly, I'm a little bit embarrassed about how many saws I have, truthfully, you know. But whatever, life's short. I'm enjoying these things, and I usually get them pretty cheap, you know. So whatever, this is what I do. I have friends come over and they see it and they're just like dumbfounded. They're like, "Oh my God, Bodie, what are you doing?" So, but anyways, such as hobbies, you know. The only people that understand the hobbies are the people who also have the same hobby. Anyways, I do have other stuff like that. I got some more Poulans that I might end up putting up there. Like I've got a Craftsman 3.3 that would be cool. It's a really cool one. I've always thought those were the coolest of all the small block high top Poulans. I also have the Mustard Seed, which is my Poulan Pro 335 that I've ported up really nice, and it runs really good, really, really good. I've got a Husqvarna 268 that could go on this shelf, but you know, this is first. I just loaded it up as best I could, and I've still got more cleaning to do tomorrow. A lot. So, and I've got to sell some saws. I have to sell some saws. I've just got far too many. I've got several Echo 590 carcasses that are ready to be built. I've done the machine work on every one of the cylinders. You know what I mean? I just haven't finished porting them. I just wish there was somebody here close by that would swing by and get a lot of my stuff, especially the Poulan high top stuff. I've got a lot of that. I have enough plastics and saws to build 4 Tim Allen bad boys. And 2 or 3 of the Super 380s. You know, I've got a lot. And so what I want is to get somebody that's into those just to take all of it, just take it. And the only thing that I want is for you to give me back assembled, good, ready to go, 1 Poulan bad boy, right, the 3750, and 1 Super 380. The rest of it, for doing that work, you can have it. All right? Yeah, I mean, I've got a shitload. So, look at this. 3750, 3750, 3750, 3750, 330, 330. This is all the pile of bad boy stuff, you know, and other things are mingled in there, you know. Like I would probably keep this so that I can dye it black and use it on my Craftsman 3.3. But, you know, like the rest of it, look, that top cover and that right there, those 2 things alone, you put those things on eBay, that's probably $100 or close, you know. So there's definitely stuff here that is absolutely worthwhile. And I also got, look at this. Now, don't go asking me for bits and pieces because I'm not doing it. But 60cc, 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 60, 60, 60, another 60, another 60. So, yeah, I've got a lot. If anybody is interested in coming to my place and getting all of this shit, and like I said, the only thing that I expect back is 2 good, ready-to-go saws. And you can do whatever you want with the rest of the stuff. Part it out, build saws for yourself. I don't care. I want a Poulan 3750 bad boy and a Super 380. Anyways, if you're interested in that deal, please come get this shit. Speaking of which, I need help. Like with those, that's part of it. I need help. I'm never going to get to them, at least not within 5 years. You know, I'm never going to get to all of those Poulan projects. Another thing that I'm just struggling to do, so I'm trying to, I want to get to a point to where I can test all 60cc ported saws. And and they have to be, now it pains me to say this, it really does. They have to be ported by somebody at least as good as me or better. Which means, I mean, I'm not going to give them up, right? But, like, this 361, I need somebody to build that for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I can build it. I'm just running out of time. Like, sometime this summer, I want to do this test, right? And these 2 361s, right? You can put them together and build one for sure. But if I can get somebody to build this, like, let's say, I don't know, like Brennan Cass. Brennan might be into a deal like this, right? You port this for me really well. Really good job. I've got an OEM 460 carburetor and everything to go on this, right? So it's set up, it's ready to go. I got a new piston for it. That's a good saw, but it's a clean saw, good simple port job. But if you did that, you can have these 2. You can have them. Boop. Also, the 360 here, this is the 360. Yeah, I just said that I want to port this, and I do, but I'm running out of time. So if I got somebody who wants to port that, same thing. Well, I mean, you wouldn't get 2 free carcasses, you know. But yeah, there's that. Got to get that ported up. What else? Oh, my 562. Well, actually, no. I've already worked a deal with the 562. Or have I? Sort of. I sort of have. Anyways, if you're interested in building a saw for me so that I can use it for this, it's another kind of like hustle that I'm wanting to do. What I'll do is I'm wanting to find out what the very best 60cc chainsaw chassis is. The very best one, you know? And the criteria that it's going to have to meet, like I've mentioned it before, like the Poulan 60cc will never win. I don't care if it's the most powerful thing that there is in all the 60cc lineup. It won't win because it's so hard to find piston and cylinder and various other parts for that Poulan. It's a chassis that they sold, I think, a good amount of them. Not a huge amount, but a good amount of them. But the problem is that name, Poulan. So whenever they went bad, people just threw them away. And so there's no aftermarket support like at all for them or anything. So it can't be considered the best 60cc of all time, right? I would say for that matter, neither can the 262 from Husqvarna, right? Because yeah, it's pretty well supported. However, it's not perfectly supported like good luck finding a clutch cover for that thing. You know, I mean, it's hard to do. And it would have to be a 60cc chassis. All right. So a lot of people think like a Husqvarna 61. Well, that's a 60cc saw. Not by my definition. That is not a 60cc chassis. That is a 67cc chassis that they shrunk the bore down. Same thing would apply to the Husqvarna 365, all right, and the 363, 362, you know. That doesn't count. That's a bigger chassis that they shrunk down to sell cheaper, you know. But anyway, so Echo 590, 620, 361 from Stihl, 360 from Stihl. Husqvarna has the 357 XP, the 359, the 262, and of course all the Jonsered equivalents if they're there. The Dolmar is another one that can't possibly win. Of course, I want to add it into the competition, but they're just not that readily available. And I think I've hinted towards it or blatantly said it. I truly think what will win is the Stihl MS361 because they pour it up fantastic. They produce good power. They feel good. And there's massive, massive aftermarket support. But regardless of what my current thoughts are, I want to do the test. But that means I've got to get every saw ported, and not just ported, but ported well. Just put it that way. I'm sorry. So, you know, and it's going to have to be somebody I know, and somebody I know is going to do a good job porting it, you know. Going to be able to machine it if they need to machine it and all that stuff. But if you're interested in playing part of this little game, just, you know, if you're watching this video, like, you know, to this point, then you're in it with this channel and stuff like that. So let me know. And if you are interested in the Poulan deals where I got all these high top parts and stuff, you know, give me a holler because I've got too many. I'll never, ever, ever, ever get to them. So, yeah. Oh, also, Farm Mac 660 clone. It is just a little bit beat up. Nothing too bad. That top cover's smashed a little bit and stuff. But it's got low compression. The guy I sold it to, he runs Stihl Ultra. And if you get that tune off by just a little, it doesn't hold up. But I haven't gone into it. I do not know why why it has low compression. It's only at about 120 pounds. And so it's very hard starting if it starts at all. And so if you're interested in that, $100 bill, and make it 120, and I'll ship it to you for that price. So I'm a bit overwhelmed. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Give the thumbs up. Later.